maybe more continuity heading into training camp than we've had the last couple of years, but one notable exception, Jordan Thompson not being here.
I think we all have responsibilities, and if you're a guy that doesn't do your work while you're at work, if Dana's not doing his work at work or he's not showing up on time, he's probably not going to be working at WFMJ. If you're not doing your job at the Vindicator, you're probably going to lose your job. If you're not selling papers, you're probably going to lose your job. And it's no different as a student athlete. You have a responsibility to be a student, and you have a responsibility to be an athlete. Along with that, you're expected to conduct yourself in a professional manner. And if those things fall short, we have to part ways.
What about addressing the other side of the continuity? You got a lot more players.
Well, I think our team's closer than we ever have been, and we've been talking about how strong and how close to the team we really are is going to determine a lot as far as the end result. Last year we had almost 50 newcomers in camp. You guys remember, that's over half the team. And, you have to have an influx of talent every year. If you don't bring in new players, you're gonna have a problem. So you've got to continue to have that, but at the same time, the older players have got to be able to lead the younger players. I finally feel like we're in position that we have some leaders that can take these guys in and get them to understand what this brotherhood's all about. And that's why this is the first year that I had player representatives. This past spring. At the end of spring, I elected player representatives. Why? Well, because we needed leadership over the summer. This is the first time in my career since I've been here that I felt like we potentially had one or two guys at every position that would be voted on by their peers to lead that group. And so far the indications are is they've been successful.
The numbers that you guys put up last year offensively, you broke school records with what you were able to do scoring and gaining yards with everybody back. How much higher are your expectations to exceed even those numbers this year?
Well, I think ideally every time you touch the ball, you'd like to score a touchdown. That's difficult to do, but I think that's something that you need to try to set out there to do every time. And it takes a high level of execution, it takes a high level of focus, and we have high expectations for our football team, and that's not going to change. We expect to be good on offense, but we also expect to be good on defense. And really, at the end of the day, our goal is this: score 1 point more than the defense gives up. Because more than any offensive recognition or accolade, we're a team first. And teams score 1 more point than the defense. The defense's job is to hold them to 1 less point than the offense scores. And that's our message. We're not worried about all the noise. It's a bunch of noise. It's the past. Every year's a new year, and it's time for us to go out and prove that we have it's time for us to go out and prove that we've been working hard the past 2 years, and we're getting ready to take the next step and get back to where Youngstown expects to be.
Eric, with everything you've said, everything the players have talked about, the 11 starters coming back, the offensive numbers, would it be, and I know the expectations are always to the players, but how do you approach maybe an even keel, because the headlines, everyone expects all that to happen, so how do you kind of keep that?
When things were going bad here, we went through a tremendous transition here. And it was difficult. It was difficult for everyone here. It was difficult for our fans. It was difficult for our community. But I felt strongly that had to take place. We had to have a foundation that's going to be here for a while so we can sustain success. So with that being said, is these players are hungry. These guys went from beating North Dakota State having good fortune, winning a football game on the road, coming home, and squandering a 17-point lead. Self-inflicted. And they know that. That's gut-wrenching. It's devastating. You know, and at the time, I didn't understand, really, how that could happen. In reflection, I look back, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to us. My feeling is this: if we would have won that game, we probably would have gotten the playoffs. And the playoffs, because of our momentum, probably would have won a couple games. We had way too many young people playing, and it would have come too easy. So this year, they would have felt entitled to be back there. This team is much more hungry than that team would have been if we would have had good fortune last year. This team is hungry. This team is hungry in the aspect that they're not going to be denied. Whereas last year, we squeak in, we got 21 freshmen playing all over the field, special teams, everything else comes too easy. You know, it's kind of like when you give everything to your child and all of a sudden he has to work one day. You know, he's not going to be probably very successful at working because he's never had to work. He's been given everything.
With that being said, with Northern Iowa and North Dakota State early in the season, is that good or bad for your team?
You know what?
Doesn't matter.
Our schedule is our schedule, you know. I mean, I think you can sit here and complain about a lot of things, you know. You got to go back to North Dakota State. You got this, you got that. But, you know, if you want to win and you want to get back to playing for championships and winning championships, you're going to have to play tough people. And there's going to be tough games. And, you know, we got Northern Iowa here at home. Obviously, that's the first conference game, and we got a week off, and we got North Dakota State. But really, more importantly, I feel that even about anybody we play, it's really about how well we're focused today and just getting better today. Because if you really reflect in the past, it's not really who we're playing. It's more about us and our focus. You know, young people today have so many distractions that you don't know. And it's a serious issue. And getting those guys to focus for a lengthy period of time is not always the easiest thing to do when you have so many distractions out there. And that takes away from your performance, from your focus.
There's a couple new faces, local kids that performed well in high school that will join the team either in walk-on or transfer or whatever. Could you just speak about some of those guys, Dale Peterman, Lawrence Hughes, Mr. Farrell, and Jeff Clegg?
Well, obviously we're excited to have Jeff. He had a very successful high school career, and we're excited to have him part of our program. You know, he knows he's walking into a position that there's some depth, but he's a competitor. He works hard, does things right, and he'll have his opportunities. You know, obviously Hughes from Farrell, we're excited about having him. He's a good-looking kid, well-built, put together, and you know, he'll give us some depth there at that running back position, potentially receiver, but running back position there. And then Dale Peterman has got his academics taken care of and done very well. We added him to the roster there at the end of the summer there, and kind of got him back in the flow of things, so I'll have 2 years to play. Dale's a guy that I recruited out of high school, and when I was at Illinois, and he ended up going to Georgia Military, and then I knew Bert Williams at Georgia Military. So I've kept my tabs on him. He's done the things that we've asked him to do. I got 2 A's in summer school, so I think Dale's finally realized that he's very capable, and he needs to continue to keep the distractions at bay and do what he needs to do to be a successful young man.